to love, hate to see only my people in pain. Man's walked and brain lost and watched. Sons of God still hang on trees, but black Jesus hung on a cross. Watching them stagger with anger through the thoughtless forest. Wearing black to bury, but called black is lawless. The only race human. We were the green and blue men with moral science, ancient solutions. Uplifting, falling, calling for the end of confusion. But damnation loves the hologram, show illusion. Trick and bamboozled as always and forever. Damnation needs to learn a new measure. Aggressor or intelligent tone beats a many time cousin. They expect the nigga antics, the yelling and cussing. Turban of feds turns heads of feds to dashboard computers. Sarge told them leave the Moors alone to crown prosecutors. Some listen, some turn to kill the who's not a more sharpshooter. Wards of the crown, civil litter. More tooth pocket looters. Lions conquer cause their pride and courage is neutered. In the face of damnation.
We don't live under the law. That's not true. The Arabian testimony, they hear it in the church also. I used to be into the Islam. Hold on.
It's crazy how the politics can't call it quits. Prepping excursions of perversion just to call they bids. Now next one for the snorting all the big bass kids. They got a whole lot of wordplay to make you sick. Make proposals just to throw it in your face. Take six, it's all games cause these corporates trying to sell you tricks. And there's no exclusive for the losing boy. It's tunnel vision, stardust, and this account is straight. Shoot a boy and make you would take her. You're feeding off a damnation just so you can hate her. She can never be the reason you would trade her. Tell her all the lies just to open up her thighs and try to break her instead of open up her eyes and try to wake her. Impossible, cause all you try to do is let this paper cater to her feelings and blind her like a savior. You picture you a painter, but all the bets you're trying to wager is be I only give you what you can have later.
Going back, not forth, living for the youth, measure up the truth, back to this constitutional foe.
In the face of damnation.
We don't live under the law. That's not true. The Arabian testimony, they hear it in the church also. I used to be into the Islam. Hold on.
All aboard, all in. Hands up, all for one, one for all. Man up, damnation like to make excuses like their hands cuffed. Usually in the cookie jars where their hands stuck. Always pointing fingers on what we do. Why you mad at us? Lead them to the water, make them drink. Still mad as fuck. Took the pill, wasn't ready. What you think? Back on luck, resorting to your corporate ways. Think you made an honest buck. Look at all the things you say. Lets me know your life sucks. Regret choices every day. Why bother waking up? Damnation always stays the half empty of the cup. Higher self eventually fades to obscurity. Lower self raises up. Run into the church, worship him, but they're praising us. Empty out your purse, sing a hymn. In God you trust. Blood of Christ wash away your sins. So what's the fuss when you could run to us? Why you acting sus? You an agent? I still ride the back of the bus. Blood hits the pavement. Politician gets his cut. Mental enslavement. Static connect breaking up.
In the face of damnation.
We don't live under the law. That's not true. The Arabian testimony, they hear it in the church also. I used to be into the Islam. Hold on.
What up, X? Yo. YouTube trolls catch my scimitar blade and turn snitch. Your man is your dog and your homegirl a bitch. Inquisition lies turn high priestess to witch. Burned at the stake, cooked like fish Escovitch. COINTELPRO are not pros but rookies. TikTok program makes young girls shake their cookies. Transgenders wanna be called proper pronouns. D-Wade's son turned daughter, pawn of the order. Used for the rituals, niggas wearing capris. Slam dunk champ shorts are way above his knees. By yourself with 3 masks on, that's a disease. Most of y'all are crack fiends for vaccines. Giving passes to perv clones like Weinstein while in your favorite actor had property on Epstein Island, Hollywood Kazars, try above 13 wizards, blowing lies make visibility pour like blizzards, with sins greater than 55 miles per hour. Stupidity will surely get your minds devoured, using your soul to quench the thirst of diabolic devils. Then ignorance would rise past hyperbolic levels. Are you thinking, or is your mind controlled? Are you blinking, or is your first eye closed? Will you think and save yourself or fall victim? Will you fight back or keep getting your face kicked in? Are you thinking, or is your mind controlled? Are you blinking, or is your first eye closed? Will you think and save yourself or fall victim? Will you fight back or keep getting your face kicked in?
I put your head on the water and show you what's important. You need air, of course, and more will appear. Anywhere I stand, Morocco is there. So no matter where I stand, my rights will be clear. The law of the land, signed by the air. The true air. Ownership, caught up in color, you disown the ship. A black star with black people in it. Ship Garvey away before Drew Ali boarded it. That's a smart plan by some hybrids. But the birds still fly with a message. A flag of culture, heritage. American Republic. Feeling like Carthage. You're driving cars, I'm riding elephants. You're thinking nothing relevant. Black before every statement, you're an agent. Need I say more? I'm in 7-Eleven. You're thinking corner stores. Human rights declared, but how they corner yours?
Are you thinking, or is your mind controlled? Are you blinking, or is your first eye closed? Will you think and save yourself or fall victim? Will you fight back or keep getting your face kicked in? Are you thinking, or is your mind controlled? Are you blinking, or is your first eye closed? Will you think and save yourself or fall victim? Will you fight back or keep getting your face kicked in? Take notice, proclamation judicial, not a Mason official. Temple head on a swivel, see rights are not civil. Jurisdiction challenge, railroaded acquittal. Ex parte, no trial, dismissal is artificial. Straw man is not a lawman, but ends legis. In color of courts, more racket than tennis. Where colored man has no rights. And sick of this more thing, Jamal and Black Knight. Robin Hood and Zine, not Cornish but Moorish American, stand on squares, surging adrenaline. Take notice, bore the cross with a fez on. Your favorite rapper has a dress on and leave press-ons. Take notice, you got hex and lost focus, while I see with eyes behind my head like Jokic. Are you listening or under hypnosis? Is intelligence overpowered by your emotions? Take notice, crack team shots give blood clots, no what the Gen Z zombie culture. No Thanksgiving eating thighs of turkey vultures. Never see slaves, only black or more sculptures. Take notice, hailstorms and swarms locusts. When affirming, no claps, hands, palms open. That man's with hugs, brotherly love, holy covenant. Take notice, Moorish government, unconscious Moors used to meet quotas. Chicago congressman won from the Moorish voters. Elders took notice. So what Drew Ali said, Oscar Bay next to the prophet cause the priest is dead. Bay Anderson on his right, Moorish hijab. Right to bear arm, Moors might wear a niqab. Law and order mind, traders drawing quarter time. Cutting off hands and ears for committing a crime. Vegan beef with dirty Moors is not a family feud. Families fight, one's wrong, have perception skewed. Spiritual altitude, lower self-subdued. No sucrose drinks or European poison foods. Holistic versus my foe is alkalines. Pastor only speaking tongues from altar wines. For treason they all face the firing line. Most bystander not preventing the crime. Society invites it, then rewrites it. If a battle can't be won, don't fight it. Not saying see corruption and be silent, be defiant. Never punish all the clever corporate tyrants. Take notice, politicians hurt their own children. Yours get shot up and in the news for causing killings. Calling them black translates to living in death. Trans march for rights with their BIPOC breath. Take notice, sex ed taught in daycare. False evidence appearing real is how you say fear. Claim you're woke but still, you're dead and sleeping. Can't you see youth popping pills for the thrill seeking? Thinking they can fly, off balconies leaping. One's facelift like weekend, too much competing. Trying to be someone else, won't be themselves. Skinny jeans got their manhood, short like elves. Weaves and eyelashes, puckering lips and tongues out. Should be enough to have dad's guns out. Take notice, we sit back and watch it happen. He's in extensions, lap dancing devils while rapping. She's in every video, twerking, ass slapping. Y'all are Victor and Dre and Shot, dildo strapping. I see what they're trying, I took notice. I see their motives, as they're bringing 12 roses. Bullets are used on blacks, now not fire hoses. Necrophiliacs have bodies before it decomposes. Take notice.
Go ahead, Nate. Yeah. And a lot of them feel like that word more is like a title of black nobility. You know what I'm saying? So they try to tie themselves to being noble. So depending on the century, the country, and whatever, more could mean someone who is a black nobility. More could mean just some brown motherfucker that's stealing my fucking cake or some shit. It depends on the time period and the country they're referring to. It could just mean fucking brown or fucking dark.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quickies. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try? What does more mean? This has been a question that many of our people have asked. The problem is that many of our so-called scholars have said that more means black when the origin of the word did not. So let's quell this once and for all. First off, let's start with our Superman, our Kal-El, our PhD in Moorish history scholar, Dr. Ben, and hear what he says.
There came a time in 1506, after we lost power in Spain. The Africans ruled Spain from 711. We were calling ourselves Moors, M-A-U-E-R-S, then M-O-O-R-S.
Dr. Ben said we were calling ourselves Moors, M-A-U-E-R-S, then M-O-O-R-S. Many people are familiar with M-O-O-R, but not M-A-U-R. If we go to the Hieroglyphics Dictionary by E.A. Wallace Budge, we find that the word Moor, M-A-U-R, is in the book. The meaning is stated as Palermo Stele, the title of the high priest of Anu. So first off, Moor, M-A-U-R, was on the walls of ancient Hikupta, aka ancient Kemet / ancient Egypt. Second, if we do some research, we find out that Palermo Stele actually means Palermo stone, and this stone was given this name because it was removed from Egypt and brought to a museum at Palermo, Italy. So first off, Moor, M-A-U-R, was on the walls of ancient Hikupta, aka ancient Kemet / ancient Egypt. Second, if we do some research, we find out that Palermo Stele actually means Palermo stone, and this stone was given this name because it was removed from Egypt and brought to a museum at Palermo, Italy. So first off, Moor, M-A-U-R, was on the walls of ancient Hikupta, aka ancient Kemet / ancient Egypt. Second, if we do some research, we find out that Palermo Stele actually means Palermo stone, and this stone was given this name because it was removed from Egypt and brought to a museum at Palermo, Italy. It is also known as Royal Annals of the Old Kingdom in ancient Egypt. If we research this stone deeper, we find out that this stone deals with the first 5 dynasties of ancient Hikupta, aka ancient Kemet, aka ancient Egypt. So that means that the Palermo Stele deals with the Egyptian dynasties from 3100 BCE to 2325 BCE. This is from the Encyclopedia Britannica website. This is from the ancientpages.com website. And check out this PDF on academia.edu for more information as well. So now, let's use some common sense. If we look back into history, the word Moor, M-A-U-R, pops up in Mauritania, Mauryan Empire, and Societas Republicae y Almorecanos Estados. The Mauryan Empire, under Chandragupta, is listed from about 321 BCE to 185 BCE. This is from the Encyclopedia Britannica website. To history, the word Moor, M-A-U-R, pops up in Mauritania, Mauryan Empire, and Societas Republicae y Almorecanos Estados. The Mauryan Empire, under Chandragupta, is listed from about 321 BCE to 185 BCE. This is from the Encyclopedia Britannica website. This is from the ancient.eu website. This is from the Wikipedia website. Then there is the Societas Republicae y Almorecanos Estados, which is Latin for the United Association of the Republic of Almorecanos, or the United Republic States of Almorecanos. This is the title of the North American government before the arrival of the Europeans. Next up, all of northern Alkebulan, aka Africa, was known as Mauritania at one point, and this was since 300 BCE. This is from the Wikipedia website. Let's read some of what is said about Mauritania. Mauritania is the Latin name for an area in the ancient Maghreb Tamazgha. It stretched from central present-day Algeria westward to the Atlantic, covering northern Morocco and southward to the Atlas Mountains. Its native inhabitants, semi-nomadic pastoralists of Berber ancestral stock, were known to the Romans as the Mori and the Masazili. Now let's scroll down a bit and see what it says about the Mori people. Mauritania existed as a tribal kingdom of the Berber Mori people. Mori is recorded as the native name by Strabo in the early 1st century. This appellation was also adopted into Latin, whereas the Greek name for the tribe was Moruzi. The Mori people would later bequeath their name to the Moors, M-O-O-R-S, on the Mediterranean coast of North Africa from at least the 3rd century BC. The Mediterranean coast of Mauritania had commercial harbors for trade with Carthage since the 4th century BC, but the interior was controlled by Berber tribes who had established themselves in the region by the beginning of the Iron Age. Well, this is interesting. Once again, the Mori people would later bequeath their name to the Moors, M-O-O-R-S, on the Mediterranean coast of North Africa from at least the 3rd century BC. What does bequeath mean? Bequeath, verb, leave property to a person or other beneficiary by a will. He bequeathed his art collection to the town, pass something on, or leave something to someone else. He ditched the unpopular policies bequeathed to him. Interesting. So that ties into what Dr. Ben was saying when he said,
We were calling ourselves Moors, M-A-U-E-R-S, then M-O-O-R-S.
Dr. Ben said we were calling ourselves Moors, M-A-U-E-R-S, then M-O-O-R-S. So common sense should tell us that the knowledge from the high priests of Anu at some point started to spread either through some of the priests leaving Hikupta, aka Egypt, and then spreading their wisdom, and or people coming to Egypt to gain this knowledge through the Egyptian mysteries system, and then going back to their respective areas and teaching others. Hence why all of North Alkebulan, aka Africa, Southwest Asia, and North America all bore the word Moor, M-A-U-R, in their titles. Only a few were privileged to learn the mysteries system. So once you quote-unquote graduated from your 40-year study of the mysteries system in Hikupta, aka Egypt, you became a high priest of Anu, aka a Moor, M-A-U-R. So to be clear, the knowledge of the Moors, M-A-U-R-S, at some point started to spread since BC times. And common sense should also tell us that if they all bore the same title, they must have been unified. And because the high priests of Anu, aka Moors, M-A-U-R-S, were very dark-skinned, when they engaged the Europeans took the title of Moor, M-A-U-R, and gave it the meaning black. And that is what you see in the European language dictionaries today when it says Moor, M-O-H-R, Moro, Moor, M-O-R, etc. It goes back to the Latin word morus, M-A-U-R-U-S. This is from an old German etymology dictionary from 1883. The translation, Moor, M-O-H-R. The M stands for masculinum, which is masculine noun. Schwarze is black. Aus MHD, which is from Middle High German. AHD is Old High German. Moor, then also masculine noun. Aus MLAT, which is from Medieval Latin or Middle Latin, morus. Moor, M-O-H-E-R. Auch is also, FRZ is Französisch, which means French. Moor, I-T-A-L, and S-P-A-N is Italian, and Spanish, Moro. So as you see, Moor in German, French, Italian, and Spanish all go back to Medieval Latin or Middle Latin, morus. So there you have it. When you say that Moor, M-O-O-R, means black, you are literally using the European definition as they understood it. That is what morus, M-A-U-R-U-S, in Middle Latin meant to the European. However, Moor, M-A-U-R, in ancient Hiqupta, aka ancient Egypt, was on the walls, and it went back to at least the first 5 Egyptian dynasties, 3100 BCE to 2325 BCE. Its meaning, the title of the high priest of Anu. And these high priests of Anu, Moors, M-A-U-R-S, later left their knowledge to their beneficiaries, Moors, M-O-O-R-S. When Hiqupta, aka Egypt, began to fall, and the Moors, M-O-O-R-S, became the custodians of the ancient Egyptian knowledge. So, the meaning or etymology of Moor, M-O-O-R, is Moor, M-A-U-R, the title of the high priest of Anu. Oh, and side note, notice how Moor, M-A-U-R, appears on 3 different continents from since BC times? Chapter 47, anyone? Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quickies.
Bruh, are you serious? Another one?
Yeah, I know. Just don't make this a habit.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Longing. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
First of all, we have to apologize to all of you. Why, you may ask? Well, here at Common Sense Quickies, we pride ourselves on being as thorough as possible, leaving no cracks in the pavement for debris to get through. You see, in Common Sense Quickies number 27, titled The Meaning of Moor, we showed how Moor, M-O-O-R, came from Moor, M-A-U-R, and that Moor, M-A-U-R, was on the walls of ancient Hiqupta, aka ancient Egypt, and the meaning being the title of the high priests of Anu. And this appears in an Egyptian Hieroglyphic Dictionary, Volume 1, by E.A. Wallace Budge. And when digging into the meaning, we find out that it goes back to at least 3200 BCE, which predates the Greek and Latin languages by a long shot. pretty much 1,000 years prior. And this is where the Greek and Roman languages took the title more, M-A-U-R, and added the suffix us to it to form Morus, M-A-U-R-U-S, for Greek, and added the suffix os to it to form Moros, M-A-U-R-O-S, for Latin, some 1,000+ years later. And when digging into the meaning, we find out that it goes back to at least 3,200 BCE, which predates the Greek and Latin languages by a long shot, pretty much 1,000 years prior. And this is where the Greek and Roman languages took the title more, M-A-U-R, and added the suffix us to it to form Morus, M-A-U-R-U-S, for Greek, and added the suffix os to it to form Moros, M-A-U-R-O-S, for Latin, some 1,000+ years later. If you haven't seen Common Sense Quickies number 27, The Meaning of More, please go watch it, and you shall see the full breakdown of how more does not mean black. And if you subscribe to the belief that more means black, you are literally pushing the modern European meaning. Alright, so why the apology? Well, in recent times, we have been getting skeptics about the author of an Egyptian hieroglyphics dictionary, E.A. Wallace Budge, and that his potential ties with the Shriners means his work is quote-unquote tainted, and we should not take his work as truth. Even though, when you research what he wrote about More being the title of the high priest of Anu, Anu is the god that is responsible for bringing all life to the planet, and the More is the high priest of that god. So even if E.A. Wallace Budge made that up, this is some really high praise for us and our ancestors, don't you think? But for some skeptics, they would rather take the mundane meaning for moros and morus, meaning black, and run with that instead of the high priests of God. Go figure. Victim mindset, if you ask us. But I digress. Well, to all the skeptics, we must apologize for leaving this additional information out of. They would rather take the mundane meaning for moros and morus, meaning black, and run with that instead of the high priests of God. Go figure. Victim mindset, if you ask us. But I digress. Well, to all the skeptics, we must apologize for leaving this additional information out of Common Sense Quickies number 27, The Meaning of More. In 2015, I took a trip to New Zealand and Australia, and it was a great trip. I especially loved New Zealand. And at Wellington Airport, and all around the city, there is a Lord of the Rings theme that lets newcomers know that this incredible movie trilogy, as well as the Hobbit movies, all came from the creative and talented people on this small island working at the Weta Cave. And enough can't be said about our Maori brothers and sisters and how genuinely kind they are, as well as all I encountered at New Zealand. I definitely recommend it as a place to visit. When I went to the Wellington Museum, it was very interesting and informative. All the signs describing the showpieces were both in English language and Maori language, and the Maori language was displayed first. In this sign, they are speaking about greenstone, a beautiful stone from the jade family that's indigenous to New Zealand. In this sign, they are speaking about the sharp stone tools that the Maori brought with them to New Zealand. It reads, "When people arrived here, they brought a new edge to the environment, the use of sharp stone tools. For these first settlers, the forests were the realm of Tane, the deity who imbues all things with Mori, brackets life force. So, in order to use forest resources, it was necessary to seek his permission with karakia, brackets prayers. So, in this write-up, we learned that in the Maori language, the word Mori means life force. And if you check the image that I showed you before, Mori also means spiritual essence, which, if you think about it, your spiritual essence is your life force. So now, of course, we need to check when approximately did the Maori language originate. First, let's go to Etymonline and read what it says about our Maori brothers and sisters. Maori, noun, Polynesian inhabitant of New Zealand. 1843, native name said to mean normal, natural, ordinary, of the usual kind. As an adjective by 1849. Now that's really interesting. As an adjective by 1849. But let's not go down that rabbit hole. So according to Etymonline, the Maori are Polynesian. Second, let's go to the New World Encyclopedia website and read what they have to say. Maori. The word Maori refers to the indigenous people of New Zealand and their language. Both the term and the people are a hybrid of various Polynesian cultures and are thought to have arrived in New Zealand more than 1,000 years ago. Now let's move down to Maori origins. It is thought that New Zealand was one of the last areas on Earth to be settled by humans. Archaeological and linguistic evidence suggests that probably several waves of migration came from eastern Polynesia to New Zealand between 800 and 1300 CE. Maori origins relate to those of their Polynesian ancestors. So, with all this talk about Polynesian, of course we have to check out Polynesia. Now let's scroll down to history. Second paragraph. Maternal mitochondrial DNA analysis suggests that Tongans, Samoans, Niueans, Cook Islanders, Tahitians, Hawaiians, Marquesans, and Maori are genetically linked to indigenous peoples of Southeast Asia. Between about 3000 and 1000 BCE, speakers of Austronesian languages spread from Taiwan into the edges of Western Micronesia and on into Melanesia. So here, in the history section of Polynesia, it says that the Maori language goes back to between about 3000 and 1000 BCE. Now let's read what Wikipedia has to say. Maori people. The Maori are the indigenous Polynesian people of mainland New Zealand. Now let's scroll down to the history section. Origins from Polynesia. No credible evidence exists of pre-Maori settlement of New Zealand. On the other hand, compelling evidence from archaeology, linguistics, and physical anthropology indicates that the first settlers migrated from Polynesia and became the Maori. Evidence indicates that their ancestry as a part of a larger group of Austronesian peoples stretches back 5,000 years to the indigenous peoples of Taiwan. Polynesian people settled a large area encompassing Samoa, Tahiti, Hawaii, Easter Island, and finally New Zealand. And so, 5,000 years ago was 3000 BCE. And the Wikipedia page ties into what was written on the New World Encyclopedia website, where it said that the Maori language goes back to about 3000 BCE. And 3000 BCE predates both Greek and Latin, doesn't it? Let's check. If we go to the Proto-Greek language page, which is the parent language of Greek, and Greek being the parent language of Latin, and we scroll down to the origins, it says that Proto-Greek originated in 2400 BCE. So that means that the Maori language predates Proto-Greek by 600 years. And that also means that the Maori definition for Mori, meaning spiritual essence, and Mori, meaning life force, also predates the Greek and Latin definition for morus and moros, respectively, meaning black. So for those that choose not to trust the Egyptian Hieroglyphics Dictionary, Volume 1 by E.A. Wallace Budge, and the definition for Moor, M-A-U-R, he has written in the book because supposedly he was a Shriner. The Maori language predates both Greek and Latin languages by at least 600 years. And the definition for Mori in the Maori language means spiritual essence and life force. And we are willing to bet that there are more positive definitions for Mori in our Maori brothers and sisters' beautiful language. And we are also willing to bet that none of those definitions mean black. So, you can reject the Egyptian Hieroglyphics Dictionary, Volume 1, and its definition of Moor, M-A-U-R. But our Maori brothers and sisters have this word in their vocabulary, dating back to roughly the same time of 3200 BCE. When it is said that the word Moor, M-A-U-R, at the very least goes back to and appears on the walls of ancient Hikhupta. And once again, we apologize for not bringing this information to you sooner. We just thought that the Egyptian Hieroglyphics Dictionary would be enough. But apparently for some, it wasn't. Go figure.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quickies. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
And so beer just keeps evolving and evolving and changing and evolving, and it's great. I love it. Rating for this beer then. Looks good. Smells great. Tastes absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to shy away from this. I'm just going to rate it. I'm going to give it, for me, this is a 10 out of 10 beer. It's a 10 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please check out more beer companies. Hoppiness. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. You can pick it up from imperialbeerclub.com. Yeah, thanks for watching. Please comment. Please subscribe. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! And cheers.
Common sense was made before book sense.
It can mean some broke ass nigga, somebody that stole my rights. Like it's very vague, but when they find it in other words, like in the Black Laws Dictionary, more means a fucking cop in Britain, a fucking fed. So like to me, it's very a vague, vast word, but they try to tie it to being noble, being of a certain society, but you don't see anybody that skull and bones say that they're skullish or bonish. They don't do that. So to me, it's just like a really big psyop of fucking stupid
The psyop and stupid shit is people talking about skull and bones, calling themselves skullish and all that. BS. The psyop is don't be a dumb nigger like these people. The psyop is they already know you're gonna play yourself listening to these dumb people. Now, you know, I don't mean to say that you're dumb, but if you're gonna give this guy $3,500 for a package or whatever, and you're gonna be a more because you paid $3,500, or you went to the class for $8.99 plus tax, you're dumb. You're really dumb. The psyop is everybody playing that they're not Moors. That's the psyop. The psyop is everybody saying they have nothing to do with Moors, and then they make up something to say why they don't want to be a Moor. That's the psyop. Remember we told you. Because you already been played. If you haven't noticed, you know, they're still murdering our people in the street. Because they want to keep playing black people still. Even though these people told them, we're going to kill you. They told them. Told them that they're going to do this to them. Told them. What happened? It happened to them. Is he more shot up anywhere? Like we said, you want to talk about op? The op is all those whoever black gun club people who never stood on the highway with their arms. Unless it was some rally, some crap like that. Not doing anything for rights. But for some gun rally, some Second Amendment rally, when you're not even a citizen, what are you talking about? What gun rights are you talking about? You got rights if you're stateless. Being black is the op, not being more. Because remember, it's only the energy of the competent ones that matter. The incompetent ones, they don't matter. They're just food. The food that they're not getting because you're not a dumb nigger is what they're trying to avoid. They want to suck you. They want your life force. They're going to send your whoever. They're going to send your whoever to try to make you not be a Moor. People you thought that they were really, they're good people and all that stuff. You start talking about Moors and then they flip on you. That's the op. The op was at your house. You've been playing games with the op for 20 years. And he's trying to say you're out the game. I mean, I'm not Negro, black, colored, I'm more. Oh, no, all of a sudden everybody knows who the Masons are and Uncle Frank's friend who had the mansion on the hill. We used to go to the porn parties and all that. All of a sudden, stuff is in the open now because people are saying that they're Moors. Don't let them play you. Being black is the op. Don't let them fool you that the Moors thing is the operation to have our people's lives messed up. No, it's not. They're playing you. Because we're not talking about that there's Moors locked up. We're not even dealing with that. We're dealing with how come these Moors were on the highway with arms and no one got shot up. Every time a black guy has an arm, he's shot up. If he doesn't have an arm, he's shot up. If you just walking the dog, he's shot up. If it's a little black boy playing in the park, he's shot up. Moors are on the highway with arms. Not one shot fired. Not one kick the door in, running, hanging from the balcony. None of that. There's none of that. How come they didn't tell you that 9 people are home? How come they didn't tell you that part? You know the stuff on the highway? Then everybody, oh, you didn't hear, they didn't broadcast to you? Like they were broadcasting that thing to try to make the Moors look like some BS or whatever. You didn't see the other broadcast when it's 9 people are home? And now they're really just squeezing 2 because they really couldn't hold everybody because gun rights is a big deal, you know. So they're going to do the Roe versus Wade and all that stuff. And right around the time, year anniversary of the stuff that went down and all that. Point is, no one shot up. You can't say that for black guys. Because they have a cell phone and get shot up. So don't talk BS to Moors. Don't even talk BS to Moors. More is not the op, because, you know, when you see dirty Moors, so that means no, they're on the other side. They're the ones who infiltrated and did whatever they did. They excommunicated themselves. There doesn't have to be some hearing to excommunicate. They're a traitor and a sellout to the movement and the cause. Why do you think the concept is the boat has left the dock? Those are the last ones who were on it before the gate closed. So you better know how the secret knock. Because you don't have any salvation in stateless. You don't have any salvation there. You're not saved. You think you're saved because you're free to whatever like that. You're not looking around realizing that there's androids everywhere. And all the sensible people are behind the gate. And we have everything we need back there because we found inner earth and all that stuff. And we just go down that hill right there. We're not concerned with the machinery. They want to keep you android. And then keep you android is that they have your mind. You don't even have your own mind. You gotta get your mind right so you can be in harmony with what's supposed to be in harmony with you. So there's no group, organization, anybody that's coming to save you. You better be in tune with the divine or you're done for. You're dust. You're a pillar of salt. Keep playing around.
Shit, and just wasting people's time, keeping them away from their actual lineage, and robbing them of their true heritage while trying to tie themselves to this land and trying to call America El Morocco. No, it's not. All right. And even the Morocco in Africa or wherever the fuck, it's not even as old as the city of Morocco that's in America, but it's not even the same Morocco. Like, they don't even have an actual Nile in Africa. So, like, it's just so much stupid shit they do. Like, the Morocco there is not even that old. It's fairly new. So it's just a lot of conflating so many different things and distracting people to who they are, and then tying themselves to, like, if I want to be even more petty, like Moor or Landa Mu or the Muspelheim people of Norse mythology. That's fucking hellish people that eat everyone and burn people the fuck up. So if you want to...
Why was that? Why do they always go to, it was some savagery or something like that? No, it wasn't. It was the infiltrators. It was the sellouts. It was the individuals who were trying to stop our beautiful society that we have running here. Scalping people was sending a message. Don't come around here. Was sending a message. Some savagery. Islam, more.
Islam, Grand Sheik.
What you said?
Where'd you find that one?
Yo.
I've never heard, the ignorance. She doesn't even know where Morocco is at. The so-called Morocco. She's like, wherever it's at. Like, where are these people coming from? Who's qualifying these people?
Nobody's qualifying them. That's the problem. The go live button is qualifying them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Anybody can press the button.
The go live is their scholar.
You've been saying that for years. Who's listening to these people?
Bro, they got 11,000 and,
That's the thing. And because people just, you type in the word more and you diss Moors, everybody wants to hear it.
Everybody wants to hear.
But then when you listen to her, she's incompetent.
Yeah.
She proven the Moors, even she's gonna say the Morocco over there is new. Okay, so you're proving us right that this is the Morocco over here. Because well, what about all of those treaties that was made during the 1700s? Where is that Morocco? If that Morocco, like you're saying, was new. That's what we're saying, that this is Morocco. We were making those treaties here before that place came up in 1956. So with her saying she's even proven our point. I'm like, she's proven us right by saying that. Like, she just fucked up by doing that. Like, you messed up.
Yeah.
You messed up.
Played herself.
You played yourself. You proved the Moors correct by saying that Morocco was new over there. And she said it numerous times.
Yeah, Moore said in the chat, she's talking confident too.
Yep.
Wrong and strong. Wrong and strong, boy.
Wrong and strong.
Wrong and strong.
It's almost, and then we'll never hear from these people ever again. They're going to get their followers by dissing Moors, and then they're vanished. They're vanished. We'll never see them again.
Yep.
They get their little 5 minutes of fame because they said something about a Moor. And then, like, I tell Moors all the time, look up the online etymology of lineage. That shit don't mean consanguinity. That has nothing. Look it up. Look up lineage in online etymology. It'll tell them. I think it's
get it before.
Line of cloth or something like that. It has nothing to do with bloodline. That came up later. It's consanguinity. And they don't want to deal with them terms because that's back to the Moors. Moors say the term consanguinity. And even all of this, the concept of who we are as a people, tying us back to the land as, carbon beings. That started from the Moors. There's no Negro Indians talking about, our lineage. Not until Moors started that. And we've been saying that for forever, Grand Sheik, that they just the whole concept of what the Moors
all down to Yeah, all down to sundry free Moors and all of them.
Yep.
Saying that, why would they say that they're Moors in America if America is not Moorish?
Yeah. The oldest people. They said it right. They say it with the Washita Moors, that the Washita Moors were the oldest people here found in America. That's known. That's documented. That's known. It didn't say nothing about Cherokee, nothing. It said Washita Moors.
Easy as that.
And they still debating because you know it's still the look at me. It's the whole thing. The look at you, right or wrong. They still gonna play the look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. That's what they gonna do. It's
want to be seen. Want to be seen.
She's saying what she's saying. How that help? What that help with? How that help any of the Moors right now? How that help? Right. What she's saying right now, how is that gonna help you in your life? Exactly.
Yeah, don't look at Moors. We're already in this. We're in this. You know what I mean? We're in this neck deep. We're in.
I'm on the bottom deck of the boat right now in the kitchen.
Yeah.
No, no. We've been left. Been left. We've been left. We've been here, and you know that's old, Grand Sheep. She reminds me of the people back in the day. Remember, they used to be like, "Well, what's the ish in more? What's the ish about?" She reminds me of that. Remember, they used to, well, we're not more because they got the ish. That means you're kind of more. Remember, that's what they sound like. She sounds like.
Yeah. That's the ish 3.0.
Yeah.
This is the upgraded Agent Smith now.
Yeah.
This is the upgraded Agent Smith.
Grand Sheik, I just wanted to add that in because I'm like, yo, she just killed herself by saying the Moors over there was new. Like, I'm like, yo, she killed herself.
Yeah.
You literally killed yourself.
Didn't even know she played Russian roulette with herself.
Killed herself. And we
pulled the thing 6 times like a dummy.
Years. Just let them talk. Just let them talk. They're gonna kill themselves.
Straight. Let them talk. You already know how we do.
Yep. Islam, Grand Sheik. I yield the floor.
Islam, boy. Islam. Yeah. You're getting you. You're getting you. Don't let them. Don't let them. Don't let them get you. Chancellor Williams, Destruction of Black Civilization. Now again, just who were the Moors? The answer is very easy. The original Moors, like the original Egyptians, were black Africans. As amalgamation became more and more widespread, yada, 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 the African blacks, having had even this name taken from them, must contend for recognition as Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors. Honors to all the mothers. Supreme honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Moors.
that God will bless you in everything that you do. I pray that you will grow intellectually so that you can understand the problems of the world and where you fit into in that world picture.
Sun vibrates, earth revolves, how can I rise? If I perceive through a calcified third eye, Merkaba's looking like paper mache today, and words of wisdom from ancestors are now cliche, blowing like dust away, or metal rust away, doing wrong unto others and got enough to say. We shackled our slaves, now we wear cuffs today. Wanna make your wife a dyke, you go trust the gay. Iron sheet punchlines made Douglas bust the sway. Knitted times if crochet or custom made, RBG or RG, it's still MST. Getting guards off Ritalin and pills stamped with E. I go, I made. Youths chant with me on the front lines, and I got no grant with me. All diamonds are bloody, rapping blood clot dummy. Thinking that's real, Imhotep playing a movie mummy. Give up a tar doll and call it an Oscar, calling me grouch when I drop the truth on ya. Use hip-hop to wake those you call young goats at risk, cause they gun-toed and inhale gun smoke. Mufti shoot, nah, get a neck thumb poke. Trying to order me on the 9 to 5 like a slave boat. Master gets nailed to walls like plaster or gyprock. Illegal tackle in battle or catch a hip block.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out. And when you look at that man, if you know he's nothing but a coward, you won't fear him. If he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. This is how they function. They function in mobs. That's a coward. They put on a sheet so you won't know who they are. That's a coward. Now, the time will come when that sheet will be ripped off.
You're scared to say don't touch my ass, you b-boy cowards. Try that with me, ball in your face like 48 hours. Bloody your nose, maybe bloody your clothes. Kick Satan's ass in Eden's garden and bloody your rose. Bloody your spit, I'm just like bronchitis severe. Hex alpha omega, I'll make blood of your tears. Not on the Mike Tyson style, but I'll bloody your ears. Verbal shotgun blast you and your fam, bloody your peers. Some Pan-Africans ask why they bloody the feds. I say trail of tears is when they bloodied my fez. Without inspection, I see fiction correction. Too much diction and not enough soul reflection. Agents causing confusion from misconceptions. Distractions make lunch drops like turns missed on sessions. 5 for possessions. I burn up your Wessons. Smith cashing in the bonds, quick to live off pensions. Live off our tensions. I got to mention. Give Moore's European names and live off our inventions. Saying I'm black to cash in on bond investments. Saying I'm a Moor, you giving me psycho assessments.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out. And when you look at that man, if you know he's nothing but a coward, you won't fear him. If he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. This is how they function. They function in mobs. That's a coward. They put on a sheet so you won't know who they are. That's a coward. Now, the time will come when that sheet will be ripped off.
Like lipo, hybrids getting under my skin. Boot stomp them like an insect, but not under Tim's. I'm into tinted windows, but not into rims. Pilgrim stole my fez and just added a brim. Stole the tassel, convince you that's a degree. Thinking you're smart with 1 out of 360. Thinking you're hot, but run for nursery and curse me. Cause I run your fried chicken and your beef jerky. Run out your pork rinds, discharge court fines. Bondless, send a letter, make them acquiesce. Run the racket, racketeers with muskets modernized. Most lost their first and use modern eyes. Using words that makes language modified. Children's ain't stealing children, make them traumatized. Homos are doing promos and advertise. To the lesbian solo with gay chat lines. MySpace is really their space. Facebook is bait. Locks and pics but bald-headed, proving you're fake. Saying they're for love, but just want to debate their unintelligence and their lack of knowledge intake.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out. And when you look at that man, if you know he's nothing but a coward, you won't fear him. If he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. This is how they function. They function in mobs. That's a coward. They put on a sheet so you won't know who they are. That's a coward. Now, the time will come when that sheet will be ripped off.
outside and you see the ordinary warm brown closed eyelid scenario, and then these colors begin racing together and form this mandalic, floral, slowly rotating thing, which I call
higher chrysanthemum, higher space, higher zone, outer space, higher throne, outer state, higher chrysanthemum. Know my place, know my home, Norman Bates, going on a killing spree. This is how you feel when you came from the gutter like crabs in a bucket hot. Now we got the city on fire, and I've been trying to get it Mike Myers. You know we going over limits, don't try us. Study, study, study till you make it out. Enough to save a nation, why not save yourself? You trying to find a package, about to play yourself. Caveat until you never heard that read out loud. Who say we not teaching no civics, they liars. That constitution got the courtroom on fire. That resolution 7-5 with no bias. Coronavirus in your Lysol products. Bury it, carry it deep, don't tarry it. Heavy like a weight on my heart, lay Marion. Oh, my treasure was tossed in Lake Marion. Gone but never lost, we taught to never cherish it. Father never home, my throne should be a chariot. And various with areas underground like Harriet, underground like the spirit. Inside the heart of America, they pumping pharmaceutics. Purple heart to the highest chrysanthemum. Higher space, higher zone, outer space, higher throne, outer state, higher chrysanthemum. Know my place, know my home, Norman Bates, going on a killing spree. This is how you feel when you came from the gutter like crabs in a bucket hot. Now we got the city on fire, and I've been trying to get it Mike Myers. You know we going over limits, don't try us.
The word chumps and nerds going live with lies and words, calling themselves transitive verbs. We stay proper in status, in full life, lavish halo crown, sons of a live view of 29 mantis. They doing rituals, using feces and rabbits. They throw rocks to our temple window like crack addicts. Make him hug cactus in realms of hieroglyphics. Lightning bolt to the neck of Greco Serapis. And the Turks say gave me my fez, they're backwards. Lost souls spinning inward in the portals awkward. I self-law and mastered national standards of angles, marvelous light geometric patterns. High past mountain tops, deep past caverns. When we have questions, inner self has most answers. And you're ready for the truth, close your eyes, let go. Embrace the intricate beauty as you pass the threshold.
Higher chrysanthemum, higher space, higher zone, outer space, higher throne, outer state, higher chrysanthemum. Know my place, know my home, Norman Bates, going on a killing spree. This is how you feel when you came from the gutter like crabs in a bucket hot. Now we got the city on fire, and I've been trying to get it Mike Myers. You know we going over limits, don't try us. Study, study, study till you make it out.
With a chain on your brain, with niggas no playing. King Alpha plan, vaporize, nobody's laying. Got nations reclaiming republics back. Constitution enforcing on the demo acts colored. Can't be a verse, I'm a more first. Won't claim to be ham and catch that pork curse. Following black power that lost debates. Slap Doc for having a lawyer, set the record straight. The Moors are back, burn your Nuwapian race. Pushing Malachi York with no Ellis fake. Allah's temple of Islam, perpetrate the fraud. Push Drew to the back, uplifted far. Claiming to be Lord, get thrown overboard. Dirty Moors talk, I walk cause y'all overboard. Got sisters heads under, not over swords. Camel clutch minds with hope and thoughts. Iron sheet knowing, all niggas believing. Candyman was the master, not Steven. Odds aren't in their favor and not even. Rappers think they MCs are not even. A lot of you folks are conscious jokes. Moors, Rich, CC, The Hague, and retiring popes. Send me a message, I don't reply to pokes. I live the prophet lessons, I don't parrot his quotes. Slavery been overshadowed, still wearing the yokes. No gold or silver or land is back in the notes. IRS, CRA, demand you to pay tax with no conscience when they're not Congress. Falling for bomb threats and other nonsense. Like rappers' lives, they exercise only onsets. This is physicists, not Genesis. 4 quadrants around 7 are elements. This is physicists, not Genesis. Moorish MC, magnetic resonance. This is physicists, not Genesis. Mike Imagination Heights, Bud Pegasus. This is physicists, not Genesis. Moorish MC of great eminence. Papers and cars can't save minds enslaved. Just do like Cassius Clay. Correct your names like Yasin and Spraga. Adopt El Obey. Grow up, start guarding, put the guard away. Prophet Drew Ali said it all. The most I can say you won't understand. Ask Victoria Monet, ask Nas. He said we thought like the colonists. So Noble Drew Ali started dropping that consciousness, which means he knew he was no nigga and saw things clearer when he wiped off his mirror. I spit almorical rhymes. Who's iller? Genuine without the Miller draft. Who's chiller? Keys drop, but some pull locks to open them. Waiting on walkers on water and floating men. Time to get awakened. No sleeping or waiting. Acting like you're sedated for operations. Bush Kush got mine shrinking, not dilating. Hear rappers' tracks, I get sick like smelling bacon. If I'm shopping, I'm copping broccoli. Being a Moor saying you're black is a mockery. No death threats or suits will be stopping me. Sight beyond sight, no obstacles blocking me. Stand strong and firm, nothing propping me. Iron Sheik hip-hop pills, stop popping me. This is physicists, not Genesis. 4 quadrants around 7 are elements. This is physicists, not Genesis. Moorish MC, magnetic resonance. This is physicists, not Genesis. Mike Imagination Heights, Bud Pegasus. This is physicists, not Genesis. Moorish MC of great eminence.
I'm a Moorish MC. Welcome to the board meeting year round. 4 seasons, I'll gather here for a reason. So let's throw the gods away. No idol worship consecrated. There's something wrong when the created God is not your favorite in your congregation. I'll never be a Christian more. Propagating the faith, you could be a victim of swords. I walk over the water, emotional tyranny. You say the B is for the spreading on the YouTube parodies. Apparently, we have to draw from scratch and see our artwork. Let's get it together, guys. Draw the image and sharpen. Where the image of our people with businesses and commerce. Muhammad and our face and Drew Ali begins to conquer. It's the capital, we be Chicago, it's decided. Oversized Temple of America business license. The heater has to leave, so I fill up the water for him, fluoride in it. With my music playing, oh the horror. Praise the Father God, Allah, Yahweh, Eloah. Broken the yoke of our burden, and we're bound to get closer to the disclosure of the truth. Unlocking the hypnosis of the devils that had cultures to play the game with exposure. I'm with the harmonies of life, a mystical encounter. In my place of what they want with the contract on the counter. A monster on the west territories, no pilgrimage. Children with the Moors and Canaan and Moorish affiliates.
This is physicists, not Genesis. 4 quadrants around 7 are elements. This is physicists, not Genesis. Moorish MC, magnetic resonance. This is physicists, not Genesis. Mike Imagination Heights, Bud Pegasus. This is physicists, not Genesis. Moorish MC of great eminence.
Huh? Who my nemesis? Well, there's evidence that they're trying to erase all of the remnants of my DNA. Can't trace my inheritance back to my Moorish ancestors who were prevalent on my premises. Yo, there's residents, puppets on strings. We call them the surrogates. Kiss the ring of a prince. We setting precedents. Kiss the ring, I'm a prince. I'm setting precedents. Pay homage to a king. Never knows heaven sent. Sideline, watch us do a thing. No time for hesitant. We the ancients that descend. Don't care about being relevant. And ever since the genes of ISIS, authority from the wombs, always been priceless. So it's fitting that this tunes carved as ISIS. Most waiting on the tomb to make things righteous. I'm aligning with the moon. Planning my light quest. Geminian from June. Made in her likeness. I was fed with a spoon before I could bite it. Yeah, you thought you were in tune. Your mind ain't right yet. Cauldron and broom, waiting on flight. They out the way, make room. This is our mic check. Taking the fumes. You might even like it.
This is physicists, not Genesis. 4 quadrants around 7 are elements. This is physicists, not Genesis. Moorish MC, magnetic resonance. This is physicists, not Genesis. Mike Imagination Heights, Bud Pegasus. This is physicists, not Genesis. Moorish MC of great eminence.
Northgate, H2O flow, Sheik, Canaanland Moors, Bernice Fall, Shalon Davis, salute. Check it. They say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth, trust me, they only sound great. Study nationality before you question my estate. I'm not a minority, why you so late? Majority rules, here comes the test. Fact, that's my hand in the form of a V on the chest. That's a womb that is blessed like a moon and a crest. Major forever, infinite mindset. Major from birth, that's a seed in process. I'm a more that is easy to digest. Competent, never terrenilious. That is my land, never vacant. Sacred traditions, petitions for what you're not Jamaican. Westmoreland to Portmore, everybody needs more. We feel please more. Following apostles, we should read more. I see the unseen more. We more. That's a fact. Canaanland.
They say they want to learn, complain classes are too long. Don't want it on a phone call, energy too strong. Get it from the wrong source, now they way off course. Think they must be Muslim and give up on all sports. Should give up the red meat, must give up on all porks. Won't be yelling haram when the bottles are uncorked. Eating with the spoon, use forks for tuning. Eating humble pie, no ego ballooning. Samson 2 caterpillars, got them cocooning. As the full moon hung, spiral energy moving. Up through the crown chakra, energy shooting, and told me upload classes before live YouTubing. 16,000 subscribers, 20% consuming, 80% troll pretending to be tuned in. Comment on every video, pushing the thumbs down. We'll push the link when we live just like a clown. Pouring in the incompetence, always debating. Dissing Drew Ali but won't give their location. His image on the black banner, that's placation. Just get him out of here, Yusuf yells in frustration. We know they're playing games, we're not berating. Calling 911, scimitars penetrating. In defense of prophets and mothers abused. And newly awakened Moors, amused and confused.
On a big scale. And sometimes we have to look at that. And sometimes we have to force ourselves to put a critical eye to it. Okay? Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong that if you want to be a part of it, but don't go lying and making the Moorish Science Temple something that is not. Don't go usurping the people's nationality and their country and remixing history, because that's colonizer behavior. That's colonizer behavior. When you're usurping my identity, his identity, this country, all of a sudden you're a mound builder and you're a daggone, you're all kinds of Indians all over the country representing the whole country, acting like you're the whole everything, going back and taking the Olmecs, taking all this history for yourself. That is colonizer behavior.
No, that is know thyself and thy Father God Allah. That is, we are the founders of civilization. That is the ancient ones returned. The ancient ones weren't any Indians. Everybody knows what's up. The ancient ones were not Indians. Whether it's the black ones playing around, dancing up and down the place, instead of they go build something, they're dancing up and down the place. Talking about this is our culture. And not, oh yeah, because the African dance has twerking, then that means we should be twerking. FOH. That is full of BS. Anything to justify your slackness. Anything to justify your slackness. Your mediocrity. Talking crazy about Moors and Noble Drew Ali. You know that she has the Chitterlings triple chin and all that. All these Indians get their free cigarettes on the reserve and all that. All these non-know thyself Indians. Okay, we got something for you. We got something for you. Don't worry. Don't worry, we got something for you. Arm jiggle. They got the arm jiggle. And not the feminine jiggle, the walrus jiggle. The jiggle just doesn't even move, it just stays there. Lardy. The lardies. You get no honors. Zero. You get no sympathy, no empathy, none of that. People keep violating Moors. But you never say anything to this modern European that's raping you every day, taxing you to death. You never say nothing to them. You don't even send them a writ. You just pay the damn taxes like a good nigger. Talking crazy about Moors. You can't talk crazy about Moors. House Resolution 689. Whereas the Moorish American you already know. You already know which ant we're talking about. You already know the pork-eating chitterlings ant. You already know which one. She's telling you that you were indigenous. Oh yeah, we Indian. We Indians. We're not Moors. We Indians. Smoking a Dumouriez. Talking about we're Indians. Oh, these are the Indian cigarettes, baby. These aren't from the colonizer. All these people are sent to distract you from where you're supposed to be at. Where you should be by now, because this stuff been around since the 20s. Yeah, that's one of the ones out here. That's one of the ones out here everybody gets. Dumouriez. Dumouriez. Right? They don't get it, but it's okay, they will. Whereas the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, Hamites, and Canaanites, who were permitted by the old pharaohs of Kemet to traverse from East Africa and later form themselves kingdoms extending from the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, the Atlantic islands, and onto the present-day continental Americas. Continental Americas. Not just over there, but also the Americas. This is what the cracker knows. This is what he knows. All your Negro leaders aren't going to tell you about. All your black Indian leaders aren't going to tell you about. They're going to keep trying to detach you from Moors being indigenous here. As if somebody else had ships going around the planet. Because there ain't no Indian records that some people from America sailed to wherever and they had feathers on and all that stuff. There's none of that anywhere in the world. All you hear about is people coming here and seeing these people. But then when you check, you realize that people know that Moors are indigenous to America. That's not what Moors say. This is not what Moors say. Look up House Resolution 0689. This is not a Moorish document. These are the people who are supposedly beating our people down, and they're the enemy and all that. This is what they know about Moors. Whereas the indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas are now united in order to again link themselves with the family of nations. The family of what? The family of nations, right? Noble Drew Ali said what to the Moors? You are a nation. What did Drew Ali tell the Moors? Proclaim your nationality. What is Noble Drew Ali? Noble Drew Ali is Cherokee. We already know he's Aboriginal and Indigenous. He didn't come from Africa. He's from over here. Noble Drew Ali wasn't a slave from Africa. He's from over here. He didn't come over from Africa on a slave ship. Everybody knows who Cherokee is. Oh, Anyanwea. Everybody knows who the indigenous people of North Carolina are. Everybody knows they're connected to the mound builders. Everybody knows that the mound builders were the Olmecs. Everybody knows the Olmecs had helmets on with tassels on them. Everybody knows that the Olmecs don't look like Indians. And if they do look like Indians, it's probably some Hindustani or Pakistani or something like that Indians. Because ain't no Indians over here. And keep in mind, the indigenous Moorish peoples, not the indigenous Moorish Americans, not the indigenous Moorish Hebrews, not the indigenous Moorish Cherokees, the indigenous Moorish, whatever name they're going to make up and tell you that that's who we are as a people, or no, the Moorish peoples. Moorish people? Moorish people lets you know that they're talking about everybody over here. Even the dumb ones who are going to debate Moors as if there's something to debate. No Indian whoever, right? We got this one for the Indians. We want you to ask Dane Calloway and all these people this, right? The indigenous one and all these people who claim that they're black Indians and they're Indians and they're some tribe or whatever. Tell them to produce to you how they dealt with the last ticket that they got when they were driving their car somewhere and then they got pulled over and got a ticket. Let them show how that scenario went down. If they're indigenous and Aboriginal and all that stuff, and they're the tribe and the first Americans and all that stuff, tell them, go to one of these stores out here and go get taxes off their purchase, because if they're indigenous, why are they paying taxes? I'd like to see them do that. Let's see where you go with that. Are you going to go approach them? Are you going to approach Dane Calloway and demand from him, if you're so Indian, show me how you dealt with that bill that you got right there. Show me how you dealt with something. So you married? Let me see how did you and your consort unify your arrangement? You went to City Hall? You went to preacher guy over here? Or you did some indigenous practice? Let's see what they tell you. Bet you 9 out of 10 Moors will show you something in document that they did what you're asking them. It's not going to be going into some book and then find the page number of the whatever. No, it's going to show you they're living it. It's going to show you them being what they're claiming. Not just talking about what they're claiming, them being what they're claiming. Majority of people you people listen to, they just talk. They're not doing anything. They're just talking. And some of them have been talking to years. And they can't show you anything tangible. They can't show you a book. They can't show you anything. Whereas the Moorish Americans, being aboriginal to the territories of North, Central, and South Americas, have formed a sovereign theocratic government guided by the command principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice through virtue of the universal right to self-determination, as well as with the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples guaranteed in the Charter. So they're tying Moors, these modern Europeans who call themselves government. Now people say that that's their government. And all that. Okay, whatever. They said this in their House resolution. This is not Moorish. Oh, well, they're Masons, so the Moors work with them, so that means they're lying. No, it doesn't. How does that mean they're lying? Because they're Masons, they're lying. What do you mean? I know a brother right now, he's probably working on somebody's stairs right now. He's not a liar. He's a Mason. What are you talking about? Well, we mean the Masons that, no. The Mason is the guy who use concrete and stuff like that. That's Mason. I know what you're talking about. You know when they wear the fezzes? Oh, you mean Moors? Moors? No, but the European was a... Europeans wearing fezzes. What? No, I don't get where you're going. You sound confused. You sound confused. Right? This is how you sound when you don't study.
You're remixing history in just less than 2 years. That's predatory and colonizer in behavior. And I like a lot of people who actually are, involved with the whatever Moorish temple or have a background in it. I like them as people. But what has to be looked at is how anything like that is problematic. And in itself is not problematic. I just want to clarify. It is all the lies and the usurping of history and the usurping of identity and the remixing of what the Moorish Science Temple means. And I've talked to Moorish Science Temple people who say, yeah, it ain't right. That's not what Noble Drew Ali was about. It was about he wasn't trying to say we were the Moroccans were America and America was Morocco.
He never said that? Hold on a second. Let's just go to Noble Drew Ali right now. We want to know who are these Moors that these Indians are talking to, talking crazy. Noble Drew Ali didn't bring up and say that the Moors are tied to... Okay. Let's just check Noble Drew Ali's stuff and see. And then based on that, you better make a decision because, don't get your head taken because you're listening to some traders. Then get mad when we take your head. Don't be mad. Because you should have fact-checked these people before you let them talk crazy. You should have fact-checked them. How come you didn't fact-check them? You let these people talk crazy. And we're all Moors included. See BS and say nothing. Zip lip. When it comes to talking about these traitors whose duty it is to confuse you. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourn from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across Great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. Thought Juali said this is Morocco. And then, why are they bold-faced lying? You letting them lie to you like that? You're worried about these people with vaccines and all that stuff? You don't hear somebody sent me something about Joel Benjamin watching some European lady talking about how all these Europeans getting fined or whatever like that because they violated some vaccine stuff because their stuff was fake. All these European whoever's were playing around like they got the vaccine. And remember, these people were in government or whatever. Right? These people weren't, you know, trailer park trash or whatever. These are the people in the up and up that they just got caught using fake vaccine passes. You missed something? You missed something? That there was obviously there was no thing? Obviously there's nothing out there. Don't let them lie to you and you sit there and take it. Don't. Just don't. I don't care what the hell you're talking about. Just don't. Don't let them lie to you. Please don't let them lie to you. Right. Please don't let them lie to you. Right. Now check this out now. We Are All Moors by Anur Majid. Now tell me if this is interesting. Right? The formal annexation of the kingdoms and provinces of New Mexico into the Spanish Empire on April 30th, 1598 by Juan de Oñate was described by Gaspar Perez as an act of baptism for the province's barbarians in the epic poem Historia de la Nueva Mexico. The Pueblo Indians of New Mexico are compared to the Moors, discovering the error of their ways and miraculously seeing the light of Christian truth. The poem is also a propaganda piece. The new conquistadors are compared to the brave Spaniards who hurl themselves into the famous land of Barbary to capture the dispersed Moors. The Moor was ever present as noisy plays make use of harquebuses were staged during the expedition to terrify the natives. Why would the Indians be compared to the Moors? Because they're the same people. An Indian is a misnomer because America is not India. These people are full of BS. But India didn't have that name yet. So how can you say that over there is the Indian? Because it's really Indies. Has nothing to do with people. It's really the land. It's not people. The implication is that because you're on India or Indies, I-N-D-E-S. Because remember, they're not talking English like we are. So they ain't saying Indian. Christopher Columbus wasn't speaking English when he came over here. Then the people here weren't speaking English when they came over here. So how are they Indian? There's no such thing as an Indian. There's Indi, Os, there's Indi, S. There ain't no Indian. That's a fiction. Somebody made that up. And then people are saying that they are what somebody else made up. Which is why they compared the Pueblo Indians to the Moors, because they're actually Moors. How you know that they're Moors? You can't say the Indians are Moors. Yeah, we can. Because America's indigenous people, makers of some of the greatest civilizations in history, were treated like Moors and subjected to a relentless war of extermination. The conquest of the Indians began after that of the Moors was completed, so that Spaniards would ever fight the infidels. America's indigenous people, I'm not talking about one tribe, they're talking about everybody. They're not talking about a tribe. They're talking about Americas. There's South, Central, North, and the islands. That's Americas. It's Americas. America's indigenous people. America's indigenous people were treated like the Moors. Why would they treat them like the Moors? Why wouldn't they treat them like Indians? Oh, there's some Indians over there. Let's treat them like Moors. Is this registering to you, or are you still thinking dumb? You still thinking dumb? Have you completely lost it? Or are you still able to really get what's going on? Oh yeah, and this is almorimoorish.wordpress.com. almorimoorish.wordpress.com. You do you a favor before you read this thing. So know, right, that the indigenous peoples were treated as Moors. The indigenous people were treated as Moors. Are you still asleep? You can't be still asleep. You can't still not get this and realize that your own is selling you out. Title 8. Elections. Laws of the State of Delaware. Registration of voters. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the State of Delaware in General Assembly met, that Chapter 56 of the Revised Statutes of the State of Delaware be, and the same is hereby amended by adding a new section to be known as 1627A Section 9A as follows. 1627A Section 9. If any person being of the race of the people known as Moors and qualified to become a registered voter in Sussex County at any primary, special, or general election shall apply for the registration of his name as a qualified voter of the said country upon... Okay, so these people of Delaware were known as Moors. They got Indians over there, right? The Delaware Indians, right? That's how they talk, isn't it? How come everybody else know that they're Moors? Why does everybody else know that they're Moors? Why does everybody else know? Why do Seminole dolls have fezzes on? Not odd to you? The Seminole doll has a fez on? Well, the Seminoles aren't real Indians or whatever. Oh, all right, okay, all right. Since that doesn't count. How about ceremonial costume of the Chimu? 1100 to 1470 AD. Would that count? No, that wouldn't count. Peru. Highlands of Peru. Now, Highlands of Peru have to count. It's 1400 AD. Inca had fezzes on? They don't count? You're going to say they're a foreigner? Pre-Columbian? No. You really think people are Indians over here? Really? Come on, son. Come on, son. Step pyramid fezzes, everything. Come on. What is the problem? The problem is sorcery. Sixth century. Sixth century. You need more? I don't know how much more you need. If you need more, you're in trouble. If you need more than this hour right here, you're in trouble. Since they're talking about feathers and all that stuff, where's their feathers at on their fezzes? All these we're not Moors Indians. If you just came yesterday, because all you tell me about is I did my genealogy and my grandma's 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 grandma. So you still haven't shown me that you did something. What'd they do? There's something that you can show us. Because Moors, we can show you our ancestors built stuff. Once you see those arches, I don't care what building it is. That's Moorish. Is the arch? Arch on the veranda? Yeah, that's Moorish veranda. Yeah, but it's a Victorian, you know. If you see arches, that's Moorish. The arches and pillars, it's definitely Moorish. Domes and copper roofs and all that stuff, that's definitely Moorish. It's culture. Now again. Don't let them play games with you.
Look at the picture. You can clearly see that they are faced off with each other. Face to face. Yeah. Right? So this put it in the public domain that it's the feathers versus the fezzes.
You know, feathers versus fezzes. The feathers are the sellouts. The feathers are the sellouts. That's why they want to stay stateless. Because they know that they can lock you out. Because they're going to say genealogy. When the fact remains that we're Moors, even if you're talking genealogy. The point of the matter is that we're Moors. FOH with feathers right now. What the hell are you talking about feathers when we just showed you the fez and the feathers together? How are they telling you just facing off, but then the ancient people had the feathers and the feathers together? The ancients had the fez and the feather together. Right? Now look at these dummies.
They just eat.
So I see that we don't have any Moors coming in the back, to speak up for themselves. You guys are welcome. Just, sound like you got some sense. Dude. See, this image right here.
Some bullshit right there.
Come on, man. This image right, and this is
the pheasant feather together, right? The pheasant feather together? This is a pheasant feather together? A fez-style hat was placed as the final adornment on the Inca mummy. Bundles of pica chili. They were not made anywhere else in all of the Inca Empire. They were made by a coil method wrapping different color wool yarns around the coils to achieve the quartered step pattern. A similar example is illustrated in Arica Diaz Melamos. And they want $5 grand for that fez. The feathers and the fez together as one. What's that? That's what Moore's been telling these people. Unity. The peculiar characteristic of an estate held by several in joint tenancy. Unity of interest. We all know that this is our vast estate. Unity of title. We're not Negro, black, coloreds. We got nationality. Unity of time. Time is an illusion, so there should be no separation with our people. Unity of possession. As we said, in unity of interest, we all know this is our estate. So everything here we possess. And anybody using has to pay their tax. But what you have these modern Europeans doing? We got Moors that they're getting, if it's 2 cents tax, they're not paying. They're putting on their nationality card for every piece of tax these people are going to try to rape. And they stay there for an hour or two for their 2 cents. They're not playing games with these people. The Indians, we'll go check the Indians. You go buy a car, paying tax. Go buy whatever, paying tax. Go buy whatever, paying tax. But they're the Indians though. That's a fraud. That's a fraud. The only unity, the feathers and the fezzes being together, is these people stop playing the Indian BS and say that they're Moors. That's the unity. The black guys, stop playing the black BS and say that you're Moors. Whoever else out there playing around, like what they got is where it's at. No, it's not. Because without no nationality, you have nothing. You have no say, you have no talk, you have no anything. You're just a ward. And there's so many little numbers of people who want to know the truth about their nationality and birthrights. We just got to praise Allah and give Noble Jawali a round of applause for proving that he's a prophet. He told these Moors only going to be a handful saved. You think we're trying to get some million people out here to wake up of something? People are dead already. Been dead. And the 1 or 2 of you who put the makeup on and then put some blood on you or whatever like that, you're walking around and just pretending not to get bit. You're the ones that we're out here trying to get. Right. You're the ones we're trying to get. The ones who've been faking for 10 years, and you know that if you say something, everybody's going to jump down your throat and all that stuff. I tell you that you're this and you're not that and all that. You're the ones. You're not alone. Just know you're not alone. You're not the only black sheep out there. You're not the only one. Right? There's more of us. But we saw the light. We were brought into the marvelous light. 5 senses are activated again. You could smell them coming. You could see them coming. We could hear them coming. Right? We taste their stench and know that they're traitors to the movement. Know that they're traitors to the prophet. Know that they're in here for their selfish selves and don't want the unity. How you mad if somebody have love on their fez with a feather? Like, why are you mad? You're mad? You're mad. You're confused about Morocco and Africa? There's the timer. Just send me the DM and we can build on it. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love. Honors to all the mothers. Supreme honors to the Prophet Noble Jawali. Read that Circle 7 Quran and you'll get some game. Jawali wasn't playing.